Is it a cross product? Because we've got this vector and we've got... Oh, you're wanting to post your portfolio and all that? Well, since you asked nicely, I'll give you a free pass on that one. But I'm not sure my channel is the right place to post your portfolio and all that stuff. Just for anybody else thinking about it. But not that we don't appreciate artists. It's more of just so let's see, if we have this vector here, it's basically the dot product with, like, I guess if I have the direction that we're looking, and if I cross that with this vector, I'll get an up vector. And then if I cross this up vector with this direction vector, then I'll get this other one maybe? Because if I have the up vector, yeah, so that's, if I cross them, I'll get the up vector. Which will be like that. And then I can cross that with this, like, and these three will come out, and that'll be that vector. And then those are my two bases, and if I can do dot products with those two cross products, then that'll give me my U and my V. So let me write that down real quick. So it's going to be the dot product of the cross product of what the direction, the light direction, and the look camera direction, and that's going to give me the up vector. And then the cross product of the up vector and the light direction will give me the left vector, I'll just call it, and the up vector dotted with, so up vector dotted, so we'll do the dot product of the up vector with the I guess we're gonna need to create the what should we call this, the vector between the position of the object and the middle of this thing. As nicely exception. Yes. We need to take the position. I'm just trying to find a good name for this point. This is going to be the world space point. I'll just call it the displacement. So we need create displacement of a pixel against a center of light source. So the pixel against the light source, and we're going to dot the displacement, and that is going to get us the U. And then we do a dot product from the left vector and the displacement, and that's going to give us the V. I have absolutely no idea if that math is correct, but that doesn't matter. Alright, so in order to get let's get our basic thing. So we need our displacement vector. So our displacement vector is going to be our this is the center of our object right here. This is going to be center of light source world space. And we're going to need the absolute world position, which is going to be our thing. So we need the absolute world position subtracted by. And this is going to be our displacement vector. So we need our up vector. Our up vector is going to be our cross product of our light direction and our camera direction. So we've got our light direction, we've got our camera vector. Can we do a cross product? Yeah. And this is going to be the up vector. And to make our left vector, we're going to have to cross the light direction with this guy. And this will give us our left vector. So we have two dot products. It's going to be the displacement dotted with the up vector and displacement dotted with the y. And that's going to be our u, and that's going to be our v. Now the dot product here is not going to be what I think it is. The dot product is going to be, I'm going to have to normalize this thing. So that's our vector direction. I don't think it applied. Like I would expect to see some sort of difference happening out here. Is the cross product normalized? The cross product of any unit vector with itself is the result won't be a unit vector. So we need to normalize these. All right. Alright, so something's wrong with our math here. So we have the object position. Alright, Karakan. Good night and have a good one. Thanks for sticking around. So we're taking the object position, we're basically taking our direction, negating it for our light direction. We're taking our object radius and multiplying that by it. So this value should be, and we're adding that to our object position. So this basically should just get us the center of the world space. We have our absolute world position for our pixel, and we're subtracting it, and that should give us the vector between our thing. Alright, well maybe our object radius isn't correct. I mean, the scale is 400. Obviously, if it was 400, then I wish I could debug this and see exactly what Okay, now this is interesting. I just don't see why the world position is mattering here. It's not. The position of the object should be not the... Yeah, okay, so that's what's going on here. It's not the object position plus the world. It's the camera position. Yeah, okay. So if we move out and do whatever... Yeah, nothing should be happening. And basically all this is drawing colors. So like the color red means that the vector is heading in the x direction and nothing in the y or z, stuff like that. So that's what the colors mean when you're drawing this. The black is the nothing. So you can actually see the math. My brain is not very good at piecing it all together. So that dot product is not doing anything. Alright, so this is the up vector dotted with the displacement vector, and we're getting like an... and we're never getting a positive number. I mean, up vector and then the displacement vector, and the displacement vector is always going to be like 0, isn't it? Well, I mean, it wouldn't be 0 because it could be above it. I mean, is it absolute world position for the pixel? I think these things are in the wrong spots. Like this object, this is based on the object position, this is based on the actual vertex position. So what we want is the absolute world position of the object. So if we have this vector, the absolute, so if we subtract the position minus the absolute world position, and then we add that, we basically add the camera direction. Do we just add the camera position to this thing? Object radius, this camera position. It's going to be the it's basically the same thing here, where we're gonna normalize this vector. Alright, so basically we're adding our camera offsets in there. Why is that like that? Our camera position should be negated out of this calculation, because we're no longer caring. It's like they're both added to the camera position. It's the light direction multiplied by the -1 plus the object radius. I mean, this should be the same color, and then this color should be based on the camera position. I mean, this should always be the same value, right? Crap. Why is math like this? So we're taking our -1, 0, 0, turning it into 1, 0, 0. We're multiplying that by our radius. So that's going to be like 100, 0, 0. Right here, and we're adding that to our camera position. So this should be our position in world space for our light source. This one is our absolute world position minus our object position. We normalize that, so that's from our object to our absolute position. We're then going to multiply that. We don't need to multiply that by the object radius. We can just add that to our camera position directly. So this vector should be between Alright, so this is us looking. Alright, so X is in that direction. So this point right here is. So if we're looking directly into it, this vector should be 0, but this vector is 0, it looks like, or negative. We would expect it to kind of look like that. Just the dot from there. It's not looking the exact same way on this preview as it is on this sphere. Maybe, I guess, because this sphere is... I guess I should be surveying this thing on the actual sky sphere. And I think this whole thing has gone to complete shit, hasn't it? I don't think the material's actually updating anymore because I just removed like this entire freaking component and it's not compiling anymore. Well, thanks, Unreal. Alright, Neil, FSQ. Have a good one. This is the annoying part sometimes, is like you don't know if you actually got it wrong or if the shader compiler screwed up. or the editor has just gone to hell, because that definitely happens here. Where you pop open this test material and like it's not compiling or something. Like, because you saw like what we had here, what I had saved is not what is fucking saved here. Like, I had removed this. Alright. I mean, we could just do that same thing of throwing a mesh in the sky, but it's so dumb. So the cool thing that this guy has got going here is he was able to get this effect with a mesh in a skybox, which is actually what I want to do, is get that sort of thing going on. So I'm going to have to read how we did that. So I'll be right back and we'll continue messing with this stuff. I swear to God, this thing is still completely fucking broken. Alright, this is just insane. Like, what the fuck? Like, this... I disconnected that thing and it's not loading the frickin' material. Like... The fuck, Unreal? I mean, obviously we're having problems with our shader compiler applying the material here because it's very clearly something is wrong with applying it. Yeah, like, so we aren't saving anymore. We're not saving our material. Because I disconnected this. Like, I disconnected this and then I saved this thing and it didn't save. I mean, I don't know what I'm supposed to do if literally the editor isn't letting me edit a fucking node here. Like, in the past, what's been broken has been these texture sample things have just been toast. Yeah. So it's silently failing on save probably because of a texture sampler thing, I'm pretty sure. So the texture sampling node, if you I've seen it before, but it looks like if the texture sample node isn't set up properly, then it will fail to save the material, and it'll just do that silently on you. And that texture sampler node, as far as I've seen, is broken forever once it has been broken once. It will just forever be screwed. So yeah, that's just amazing. That's just absolutely nice. That should go from 0 to 1, and it should go along our axis here. It should be across. So I would expect it to have circles on it. Alright. Let's just make sure it's still saving. Alright, it looks like it is saving now, so it was just that one texture thing that was screwing everything up. So, God, maybe we actually had things correct? It's not saving again. Because there's no light radius. There's no light radius. What the fuck? Like, it's as soon as one of these nodes goes nowhere is when it stops saving? That's seriously messed up. Alright. Well, at least we can start messing with stuff a little bit more. If I know that's the case. This is the vector from our object's position to our pixel's world position, and we add that to the camera position. So that should move us off over there. And this should be the light direction times the object radius. I mean, we might as well do the whole normalization thing. Just to make sure that this object radius is the correct thing. Alright, so this is the pixel world position, but corrected. Center of light and world space. Alright, so that should be subtracting it. So we get the displacement factor and we normalize that. We're going to dot that with the up vector, so if we have this displacement vector and we have this other vector, it should go from like, should go from 0 to 1 and all that based on what the world space difference. So I mean, you'd expect it to move, but it's not. We're normalizing it and dotting it. The question is, why is moving the camera influencing this object? Like, it shouldn't. It should just... Moving the camera should not do anything. It just seems wrong. Like, this... Where are we going wrong with our map? Like, supposedly, we've got the absolute world position. We subtract this, which gives us the vector from our object position to our pixel. We normalize that. We then multiply it by the radius for the object. And we add our camera position to it. that should give us the world position of the object. So if we, I guess if we preview that, like where our camera is shouldn't change the color we're looking at. Like that color should always be the same color, which is what we're seeing here. The color is always the same thing. This one should be the camera position plus the I mean, do we care about the camera position at all in terms of any of these things? I don't think so.